Hello, and welcome to my inspirational time. I like to tell you more stories from experience, and inspiring stories from other people. However, I'm glad you're here today, and before we go ahead, don't forget to hit the like button, follow me on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram. And I am very pleased you're here. I want to talk about how we deal with relationship around us. Relationships are things or is the main thing everybody, wherever you are in the world, however old you are, however rich or poor, we all have relationship with people around us. Be they your family members, your colleagues, or your friends. But what I want to encourage you or talk about is how do you learn to manage a relationship and not allow any or little misunderstanding to destroy that relationship. I tell you how. Because you see, we all say it that we are human beings, and after all, as human beings, we make mistakes. But yet, the same human beings are very judgmental of human beings. And I often find myself the person who's always angry and bitter and pointing the fingers at someone for upsetting them, for insulting them, often is very oblivious of the fact that they themselves could actually be the problem, that they themselves are the ones that are very good at insulting someone, very good at not apologizing, feeling very, big, and often allowing ego to destroy a wonderful relationship you may have, especially when it comes to siblings or indeed best friends. And I've come to realize, and I try to encourage you listening to this. If you are that kind of person with ego, learn to let it go a little bit. It doesn't matter who or what or how big you think your position is. Because often what destroys relationship is not necessarily what has happened. Instead, is to do with how you handle that situation in that relationship. Because sadly, human beings, there are very few human beings, and I like to think I'm one of them, where I've learned to teach myself. It's not something you're born with. It's not something something basically you have to learn. Where whatever someone has done to you, whatever the situation, it is natural and it is okay to be upset. But what you mustn't allow to go on is to fester anger, because when you fester anger becomes the weed that grows the hatred. That sometimes you see two people who once loved each other, they could be brother and brother, they could be sister and sister, they could be husband and wife, they could be best friends, and they end up hating each other so much. And the question is why? The why and the reason is because they did not, on one party at least, did not try to manage a misunderstanding. Like I said, it's okay for people to upset one another because it's natural. We are human beings after all. But what is important is that in the midst of that anger, when you cool off, you try your best to teach yourself to think and learn. Yeah, to think of those good old times you shared with the person and not allow the anger. Maybe you feel someone slighted you. The person probably didn't think they slighted you. They probably have no clue of what you're saying. And even if they know that they've upset you, it is okay to get angry, but do not hold on to that anger. That one mistake that person made in the space of all the relationship, the years that you both have enjoyed, And don't let jealousy build or fester in you, because sometimes it is envy or jealousy that can make one party begin to overreact, due to some misunderstanding. Because I've seen it, it's happened to me, it's happened to a lot of people listening now, where you allow a simple situation because you don't want to admit to yourself that suddenly you're jealous of that person. Or maybe even you are feeling like you're not in control of that relationship. And from there, anger, the test begins to build. It is not right. Learn to communicate your hurt. Learn to communicate your misgivings with the person, whether it's your sister, your brother, your friend, your colleague. If someone you're talking to does not want to listen to you, that's a different matter. But don't go, behind talking. And the more you talk and begin to sometimes even tell yourself your own story, the more you begin to believe yourself and end up hating someone who merely has not deserved your hatred. And all you're doing, in effect, is you're denying yourself and that person, most especially yourself, hatred to eat you in. And if you're a family, ultimately you're denying your children of enjoying their cousins. You're denying yourself of enjoying a good sibling relationship with your brother, with your sister, because of one issue. And that issue, before you get so bitter, ask yourself, have you, yes, have you ever contacted that person and actually tried to express or communicate what you feel they've done to you, rather than bearing grudges, festering grudges, and before you know it, it's 1 year, it's 5 years, it's 10 years, it's decades. And all you've done is denied yourself and your sibling, your children, and your siblings' children some quality, memorable time that money can buy? Or is it your best friend? At one time, you just thrown away all those years. Learn to communicate. The number one thing you owe yourself and owe that person is not to go behind them and backchat, because the more you backchat, you are releasing more hatred within you, because you are only the one talking, the one judging, the one who's not even giving that person opportunity to defend themselves or apologize or explain themselves. So please, if you're listening to this, I urge you today, learn the art of communication. Is very important. Don't bear grudges unnecessarily. Life is too short. Many people say life is too short, but unfortunately, we do not deny yourself precious memories. Because before you know it, just because of one family feud or your friend you fell out with, you are keeping malice year after year, decade after decade, and unfortunately, life is too short. Live and let live. Be happy.